I'm in Colorado on a Friday night, so I brought with me some of my items that I use to welcome in the Sabbath for the weekend. And so let me show you what I brought. We have the 2 candles. They're really neat because they are battery operated with those circular flat batteries, the 2032s. They say Shabbat Kodesh on them, which Shabbat means Sabbath and Kodesh means holy, and that's how they say it in Hebrew, is Shabbat Kodesh. But in English, we switch it around and we say Holy Sabbath. Also, the same goes true for Shabbat Shalom. That's what they say, which means Sabbath peaceful, which they're wishing you a peaceful Sabbath. So in English, we would just say peaceful Sabbath. And along with that, we have some grape juice, or in this case, I have cran grape, since I couldn't find any grape juice in the store that day. And then I brought some matzah crackers, but you can use a bread like challah bread, which is like a braided bread, which is traditionally used. Matzahs are usually used on Passover, but they can do for Shabbat if that's all you have as the bread. Okay, so what we want to do is usher in the Sabbath on Friday night, 18 minutes before sunset. And then we say a blessing. Okay, now usually the woman of the house does this, but if a man doesn't have a woman at his house, if he lives alone or if she is away, he can definitely do this. But what we do is first we're going to light the candles. So I just switch these on. And then I will let these on all night long until I get up in the morning to get ready for my trip. Okay, and then we take both hands. I just have one hand free, so I'll just show you one hand. 1, 2, 3. And then we cover our eyes and we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us by his commandments and has commanded us to kindle the light of the holy Sabbath. Okay, and also I have an app that I can use for this. I will show that to you. Let's move this over here. This app is called Shabbat Times, which is a good app for this. Let me try that again because I want to show you the first part of how it comes up. There we go. Okay, so up here at the top, it's showing my location. Now I can change that by hitting on that and putting the right location in because the sunset times are always changing. So, and then depending on where you are. So today it was 5:56 p.m. on Friday night until Saturday night at 6:54 is when the Sabbath ends. And then you can hit on this little emblem right there and it'll bring up the blessing that you need to do. So if you just scroll down, it says the Shabbat candle blessings, and there it is in Hebrew. That's transliterated the Hebrew letters into English letters, and then the translation of what we would say in English. So I read this and then I read that when I did the first blessing there of the Shabbat candle blessing. Okay, then we also have, let's get out of that for a second. We have to bless the grape juice. And I just find the blessing I have up here. And you lift up the cup and you say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, bori pri hagafen. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. And then you just take a sip of that. Put it back down. And then we have to bless the bread, so I'll find a blessing for that. You just lift up the matzah cracker or the challah bread and say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has brought forth bread from the earth. And then you can put that back down. Take a piece. Have a little piece of that. And those are the blessings for the Erev Shabbat, which means Erev means evening. So it's actually Sabbath Eve. Erev Shabbat is Sabbath Eve. And that's when they start. The Sabbath is always on 6 o'clock or at 18 minutes before sunset on the Friday night, and it goes to Saturday night. And all days actually start at 6 o'clock at night generally, if you're in Israel, and goes until the following evening at 6. Everything is set up that way. And the calendar is set up according to the moon instead of the sun. So when there's a new moon, that's when a new month starts. So those are just some interesting things to know about that. The other thing that they do is we read the Torah every year. I think it's the first 5 books of the Bible that we read over and over again. And we just started last week with Genesis 1:1, talking about creation and Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, the birth of Seth, and all the way to how Noah came from the line of Seth. And so it ended there. So it was Genesis 1:1 to Genesis 6:8. So the reading for that week was called Bereshit, which means in the beginning. This week is the second week of the year for that, and it's called Noach, which means Noah in English. And so we're going to start with Genesis 6:9 and go to Genesis 11:32 for the readings for this week. And they continue to do that all year until we get up to into Deuteronomy, and then we start all over again. So we also read the Haftorah, which is the prophets, and then Isaiah is the book that we've been reading out of last week and this week. Not the whole thing, but just a passage. And if you're a Christian or a Messianic Jew, you also get a reading from the New Testament, which is called the Brit Hadashah. Brit means covenant, Hadashah means new. And so it's reversed in English. Instead of saying covenant new, we say the New Covenant or the New Testament. And I'll show you that in a second. Right now, though, what I want to show you is when you do the Christian version of the blessings, you can go to a website called Hebrew for Christians. Okay, when you hit Hebrew for Christians, you can go up here to prayers, and then you can reduce that a little bit. Go down to online Shabbat Siddur, and then go to lighting the Shabbat candles. And it's got the same blessings. It's set up a little differently. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav ve'tzivanu lehiot or legoim ve'natan lanu et Yeshua Meshichenu or haolam, which means, blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to be a light to the nations, and who gave us Jesus, or some of them say Yeshua, our Messiah, the light of the world. Yeshua is how you say Jesus' name in Hebrew. Okay, so that's how they say it in the Messianic Jewish world, or the Christians can do that one. And also, but the wine or the grape juice and the bread are the same blessings as what I said before. And then if you scroll down here, you can see it in the rabbinical version, which is what I originally did, about kindling the Sabbath candles. Okay, that's the Jewish way of doing it. Okay, also in this Hebrew for Christians, they have a list. If you go to home, up there at the top, and then you come over here to the side and go this week's Torah, it has a grid up here. I'll make it bigger so you can see it better. Okay, so it's showing the date in the Gregorian calendar for us, and then in the Hebrew calendar. This is last week. It's showing last week, Bereshit. It's showing the verses that were read at all the synagogues in the country and the world. The Haftorah, which is the prophets passage, which is Isaiah 42:5 to 43:11, and then Brit Hadashah, which is covenant new or New Testament for English, John 1:1 to 14, and Colossians 1:15 to 17. That was last week. Now, if you want to start the whole year over, this is the beginning, until Rosh Hashanah next year. That's usually when things are wrapping up. But this is the second week now, so we're in Noach, and this is how you spell Noach in Hebrew, and Hebrew is read from right to left. So that's noon, which is like an N sound, and then that letter there is a letter that's the Noach, and that line under there is the ah sound. So, and then the dot up there is the o sound. So Noach. They do their vowels with dots and dashes and little symbols like that. Okay, so anyways, this week is going to be Genesis 6:9 to 11:32. They also threw in here Numbers 28:9 to 15, which is not in the other one, but I guess that enhances this other basic reading here. Then for Isaiah, they actually have a different one. They have the Jewish one says Isaiah 54:1 to 10, And then this says Isaiah 66, 1 to 24. So you could do both. Rosh Chodesh means head of the month. So that means that a new month is started, which makes sense because over here it says we're in Shishvan 3. So we just began a new month. And that usually means that they began a new moon, because that's how the month starts. And so the passages in the Brit Hadashah is Matthew 24, 36 to 46, 1 Peter 3, 18 to 22, and Hebrews 11, 7. And these New Testament passages refer back to the Old Testament, such as Matthew 24. It's probably the passage that talks about, as in the days of Noah, also will the second coming of the Son of Man be. And we're talking about Noah. So that's how they tie the New Testament in to the Torah and the Haftorah, the Old Testament. Okay, so also they break it up into 7 sections when it's read in the synagogues, and they call those aliyot. So when you go to the other site that we were looking at, I don't know if I can find it. It shows the readings. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll get out of this and go back to the Shabbat times, and we'll hit this little Torah scroll here, and it will show, here it is, Noach Torah reading. That's what you want. And it shows the 7 sections of what they will do for the readings. They're called aliyot, which means to go up. And that literally means the people that will go up and read those sections, which will be the whole entire portion. And then they got the Haftorah portion right here. And it's showing it in Hebrew as well as in English. So again, Hebrew is read from right to left. And then we read the English from left to right. So you can actually, if you're doing it all by yourself, say you don't have a synagogue that you're going to, you can do the first section one day, and then you can do the second section the next day, and the third section, and so on. But then generally they read the whole 7 on Shabbat, on Saturday, along with the Haftorah. Okay, so I think that's everything, except there's some websites, not websites, but YouTube channels that are really great to learn more about this. For Jewish people, My Jewish Mommy Life, she's really good. One of her videos is called Step by Step How to Light Shabbat Candles. And I watch her. And then also, if you're a Christian or a Messianic Jew, there's Shabbat in Your Home, and that's Wilbur Ministries that posts that. They do a new one every Friday afternoon, and they show the Christian version of this. So, oh, very good. And I hope this helps, and if you're interested in doing this, you can also Google Shabbat candle lighting and see what you can find. You might be able to find out a little bit more information other what I'm talking about. But otherwise, have a Shabbat Shalom.